So it was like, hey, stand right here. We was like, hey, we was talking about which bar we was gonna go to. We was on our way to a bar, and they had to come and get us. Like, yo, you gotta stand right here. You know, you might win. We're like, we're not gonna win.
March
We're gonna go to the
5th,
bar. Like,
2006,
like, you gotta stand right here.
Los Angeles, California. On Hollywood's biggest stage, a hardcore rap group from Memphis, Tennessee, once banned from clubs for starting riots, has just made history. 3 6 Mafia, the kings of Memphis' underground, have won an Oscar for It's Hard Out Here for a Pimp. For the mainstream, this was a shocking introduction, but for those of us who already knew, this was overdue. Because by the time Hollywood woke up, 3 6 Mafia had already built an empire and changed the sound of hip hop forever. This is the story of 3 6 Mafia, how two teenage DJs turned a parking lot hustle into global influence, how Lord Infamous's twisted imagination reshaped Southern rap, and how a crew once shunned by the industry became one of its greatest legends. Before 3 6 Mafia, Memphis didn't have a seat at the hip hop table. In the early 90s, New York and LA were battling for dominance. Atlanta was just starting to bubble, and Houston had its chopped and screwed identity. But Memphis had no radio play, no labels, and no mainstream support. What Memphis did have was tape culture. Homemade 4-track recordings, parking lot tape swaps, bass heavy house parties, and DJs running the city with mixtapes.
Started off making mixtapes, but the reason why I did it, because I never wanted to be a mixtape DJ, even though I ended up being one. I never wanted to be a mixtape DJ, so what I used to do is I went about this equipment, and to learn how to use the equipment, that's one thing I started doing, is just doing basic little beat loops and different little shit like that, little sampling and this and that. So to get some extra money, I started, I made one mixtape just out of practicing with my equipment. And what I would do is like maybe play like some NWA or something, and I probably loop the end of the beat or whatever, or the instrumental, and probably put somebody else acapella over, just some basic stuff. Try to learn how to use this 4-track recorder that I had. So I would loop instrumentals and put somebody else vocals over it, and this and that, and after a while it went from that to me putting my own vocals over those loops. And then it went from that to me putting my own vocals over my own beats. So I probably would like take an old sample that wouldn't be nobody else's music, like an old James Brown or whatever sample, and loop it and put my own drums behind and a lot of heavy bass.
This DIY ecosystem, gritty, unfiltered, and completely independent, became the perfect breeding ground for something revolutionary. Born Jordan Houston, Juicy J grew up in North Memphis, obsessed with music from the start. He studied radio programming charts, learning what sounds moved people. He spent weekends digging through crates, hunting for samples that nobody else had. Paul Beauregard, aka DJ Paul, grew up just as hungry. Born with Erb's palsy, leaving one arm underdeveloped, he couldn't play instruments traditionally, so he mastered drum machines instead. By his teens, he was already known for producing the hardest beats in Memphis. And by the early 90s, both Juicy J and DJ Paul were already local stars, throwing rival house parties, battling on mixtapes, and selling thousands of tapes individually. That rivalry turned into mutual respect, and eventually, an alliance that would change music forever.
At the end of the day, I consider myself a producer first before a rapper. So I'm a producer, so I know about music. I started as a DJ. So that's when it gave me inspiration to become a producer, because I could see what the people want to hear. I could tell the tempos of the records and everything. So, that's what keeps me in the game. I stay in touch with, I mess with like anybody. If you got a good record, it's not about your name or your followers or your buzz. Let's do some music. Let's do some business. You know what I'm saying? So I'm always.
Every empire has its visionary. For 3 6 Mafia, that was Lord Infamous, DJ Paul's half-brother, born Ricky Doonigan. From the start, Lord Infamous set the tone for 3 6's dark identity. Nicknamed the Scarecrow, Infamous brought an almost supernatural energy to the group. His writing mixed occult imagery, street paranoia, and horror themes years before horrorcore was even a term. Lord Infamous was one of the earliest Southern rappers to master the double time flow. rapping at a breakneck speed while staying perfectly on beat. Tracks like Where's the Bud, Sleep, and Gangsta showcased technical precision that would later influence artists from Twista to Bone Thugs to modern Memphis drill. In 1991, Juicy J, DJ Paul, and Lord Infamous officially formed 666 Mafia. Their brand leaned into the controversy: occult samples, inverted crosses, and gothic hooks, not because they worshipped the devil, but because it stood out in a crowded underground scene. With Koopsta, Gangsta Boo, and Crunchy Black joining, the crew evolved into a movement. And while churches protested and parents panicked, kids across Memphis couldn't get enough.
But yeah, no, we wasn't like no damn devil worshippers. We definitely had a dark side and was into a lot of interesting, mysterious, mystique things.
Right.
But no, I never.
In 1995, 3 6 Mafia dropped their debut album, Mystic Styles, and Memphis would never be the same. DJ Paul programmed pounding 808s on the SP1200, while Juicy chopped up eerie samples from horror and soul vinyls. Songs like Da Summer and Where's the Bud blended street storytelling with hypnotic atmospheres. Live by Yo Rep became one of Memphis's earliest diss records, fueling rivalries with Playa Fly and others. There were no radio singles, no music videos, and no MTV rotation. Mystic Styles spread through bootleg tape networks, becoming a Southern cult classic without a single mainstream cosign. 1997's Chapter 2, World Domination, introduced Tear the Club Up, and it was exactly what the title promised. Fights erupted wherever the song played. Clubs banned it, promoters canceled shows, and police started to monitor concerts. But the bans only made the song bigger.
A lot of us did that flow, you know, Lord of us create that. A lot of us did that flow, but everybody had their own, you know, that's why we've named the first album Mystic Styles.
Around this time, Juicy J's brother Project Pat exploded as a solo artist with Mr. Don't Play and Getty Green. 3 6 Mafia linked up with UGK, 8Ball and MJG, Goody Mob, and Atlanta's Rising Stars, pushing Memphis deeper into the growing Southern wave. The industry had ignored the South for years, but now it couldn't anymore. In 2000, 3 6 Mafia dropped Sippin' on Some Syrup with UGK, blending Houston's syrup culture with Memphis's darkness. It became a Southern anthem. But 2005 changed everything. Stay Fly debuted at number 13 on the Billboard Hot 100, dominated radio, and made 3 6 Mafia household names worldwide. This would be my personal introduction to 3 6 Mafia. I definitely didn't know their history yet. I just knew that this song was everywhere, and I loved it. Later, digging into their catalog would blow my mind at how ahead of the time they were and how current they still sound. Now, in 2006, 3 6 Mafia became the first rap group in history to win an Academy Award for their work on Hustle and Flow and the song It's Hard Out Here for a Pimp. From bootleg tapes in Memphis parking lots to Hollywood's biggest stage, they'd made it. Unfortunately, after the Oscars, 3 6 Mafia began to splinter. Tragedy would strike in 2013 with the passing of Lord Infamous, and again with Koopsta in 2015, followed by Gangsta Boo in 2023. However, Juicy J reinvented himself through the early 2010s, linking up with Wiz Khalifa's Taylor Gang and delivering festival anthems like Bands That Make Her Dance. He reintroduced 3 6's legacy sound to a whole new generation of listeners. Today, their DNA and influence is everywhere, from Travis Scott, Drake, A$AP Rocky, to 21 Savage. You can even find them in the trending sounds section of TikTok, proving that their revolutionary sound was way ahead of its time and still sounds fresh to this day. 3 6 Mafia started with 2 DJs making tapes in Memphis, and became one of the most influential rap groups in history. They didn't just put Memphis on the map, they rewrote the sound of modern hip-hop. Man, I gotta say this. I've loved 3 6 Mafia since the first day I heard Stay Fly and Poppin' My Collar. That heavy, dark, original production. Nobody else was or is touching that sound to this day. And Juicy J, DJ Paul, Lord Infamous, Gangsta Boo, Crunchy Black, every one of them brought something different, something real. At this point, Juicy J has been making hits for over 30 years. These guys always stayed true to themselves, and you can hear their influence in samples everywhere you look. If you've made it all the way here, I just want to say thank you. Seriously. Your support means everything. I'm trying to bring higher quality content to you guys. So if you've enjoyed this deep dive, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and drop a comment below letting me know who you want me to cover next. This is Trill History, where the legends live forever.
Who run it?